You're going to bring a mic to you over there, Rick.
Okay. Hey, Rick. First time out against Kentucky, obviously they had a great shooting night. What did your guys learn from that game that can help them this time around to be successful?
Well, again, can't take anything away from Kentucky, but the way we turned the ball over and allowed them to score, 30-some points off turnovers, I mean, you're not going to win basketball games at anywhere doing that. And so we know we're going to have to do a better job of taking care of the basketball. Transition defense is really important. They play as fast as any team in the country, and if you're late getting back and if you're not on edge, they're going to score and score quickly. And so, but we've got to do a much better job taking care of the basketball.
Jimmy, Ben, then Rob.
Rick, in your last game, your 4 bigs combined for 21 points, 13 rebounds, and 5 assists. Do you like those numbers? Is that what you feel like you need to get out of your bigs?
You know, Jimmy, I think consistency, that's what we want, you know, and some nights the numbers can be a little bit different. But I think what we want more than anything from our bigs is that we want consistent defense from them, especially our ball screen coverage, and that would help us probably as much as anything. But what they give us in terms of numbers, again, we're just more concerned about them playing really good basketball and taking care of the details for us.
Rick, how much different is the leadership on this team since that Kentucky game? Seems like you kind of hesitated after the game when you were asked about the leadership.
It's really totally different. I mean, we're a different team in terms of our leadership, and it's been fun watching our guys really over the last couple of weeks get to the point where their input, you know, has been really, I think, important. I think the way they talk to each other, I think the way they coach each other, I think the way they accept each other's coaching has helped us, and it's something that we've talked about for a long time, and it's really neat watching that part of our program develop.
Coach Sheepway, just how tough of a matchup, how unique for players?
I mean, think about it. You can't talk about National Player of the Year without talking about him. The numbers that he's put up is incredible, and the consistency in which he's done it with, and the fact that he does it when every coach goes in the game trying to figure out what can we do to slow that down, and no one seems to have found a way to do that. And but he's, again, John and his staff have done a great job putting him in areas where he can be successful and do what he needs to do to put their team where they need to be. But again, you can't mention National Player of the Year candidates without mentioning him.
Mike, then Jimmy.
Yeah, Rick, with Brandon, how have you liked just the way that he's come in and handled starting, and what do you need to see from him to get more minutes late in games?
Well, it'd be consistency more so on the defensive end, you know, where he understands the lunging, the reaching, gets him in trouble more times than not. I mean, you know, he's got good hands, and we do want to be active going after the ball, but you can't take your body out of position going for steals, and he does need to, again, like all young players, not just Brandon, understand moving from play to play to play, and offensively, he's got to be more consistent. I mean, he's taken some shots that I think he would tell you that he's gotten himself off balance where he didn't have a chance to make those shots, and he'll get that with experience, obviously. But the biggest thing again would be consistency, just that we know what we're going to get each and every time, and now it's time that whether he starts or doesn't start or any of that, with any of the players, whether they start or they don't start, it's about consistency and being productive.
Rick, 2 things with Sheepway. What makes him such a great rebounder?
Well, he's got really good instincts, you know, in terms of, you know, shot goes up, he seems to find a way to get in position, and he's going to fight off your first block out. You're going to have to stay with him, or he's going to go get it. Gets his hands up well, he's quick to the ball, and you've got to like the fact that, again, if he misses his own shot, he's got that next quick jump to get up and go get it. But he's got just terrific instincts in terms of having aware of where he thinks the ball might come off, and he gets himself in that position to rebound it.
And with Kennedy Chandler the other day, he tied the team lead in points and steals and in rebounds against Mississippi State. What does that say about his skill level and his versatility?
Again, Kennedy's got terrific I mean, he's got a 6'7" wingspan, and the fact is, you know, I'd go what you were asking about the post guys. I think Kennedy's just getting started to how good he can be in terms of showing what his versatility really is, and it's a matter of him continuing to, you know, as he continues to get stronger and grow each day. But he can impact a game in a lot of different ways. But I think the biggest thing is that he just continues each day with the idea, I've got to get better today, and get locked in on what he needs to do each game.
Madison and Ben.
Coach, you mentioned turnovers against Kentucky last game, 20 and 32 points off those turnovers. Obviously done a much better job since then cleaning up and taking care of the ball. But after watching the film, where do you think some of those breakdowns happened?
Again, careless passes, really just careless. Again, I think in that game, I think we shot, both teams I think shot over 52%, you know, but you can't give away 29, and I'm not taking anything away from them, but we made some plays that you absolutely can't make, especially against Kentucky. They are terrific at capitalizing on your mistakes, and but we really weren't, I don't think, in the position where we've gotten better, where we're moving the ball. It was too much one-on-one stuff, guys taking quick shots and different things. But you got to give them credit. They're the ones that you could say put us into that situation. But it's obvious that we've got to do a better job in that area.
Rick, Justin, and VJ are thought of as shooters, but they haven't been shooting the ball a ton the last couple of games. Do you like what they're doing outside of shooting the basketball?
Yeah, well, we don't want people to think that they're just shooters. We want them to be players, you know. We don't. I think it's really, you know, they want to be more than just shooters. They want to be known as guys that can impact a game, whether they're making shots or not. And if they're locked into what we're trying to do, we want them to take good shots. We want them to shoot the ball. If it's the shot that where they feel like it's the shot that they know that we want them to take, we want them to take it. But in general, again, I go back to defensively. We're going to play the guys that are going to consistently get it done on the defensive end, because in this league, if you don't guard, believe me, teams can score on you every time down the floor. And so we've seen that happen. So we've got to get every guy thinking with a defensive mentality.
Wes, Reese, Rick.
Rick, when you look at Zakai's sort of steals per minute, obviously, you know, effort and energy are a big part of that, but what else goes into that? Is that some sort of, is it film study? Is it like a sixth sense for where the play might go? How does he get so many steals?
I think that when you've played the game as long as he has, and you've worked at it as long as he's worked at it, it's in his DNA, because I think he knows at his height, to be an effective player at this level, he's got to be a tenacious defender. He's got to be a very aggressive-minded person. I think when you're a 6-foot guard, and if you want to be successful, you've got to be willing to be very, very aggressive on the defensive end. You got to want to go up and guard the basketball. You've got to be able to, you know, off the ball, use your quickness and speed to come up with steals and give yourself a chance to get out in the open court and play. But I look at him, and if you've ever watched him play, and you guys have watched him a lot, some have watched him in practice, what everybody sees him doing in games, we see him doing every day in practice. And so with that said, I think it's really part of his DNA and who he is.
Coach, you said the leadership has completely changed since that Kentucky game. Who would you say has stepped up the most into a leadership role since that game?
Well, you would expect it to be the older guys that have played in terms of Santi and Josiah, and certainly, you know, Uros had a voice. Olivier, they're all trending that way. But I think overall it's been a really a group effort. But certainly, you know, Josiah and Santi, and they've been able to. Those two guys are so, and Uros. I mean, we've got so many more guys that are locked in on the defensive end with their game plan, which leadership, concentration, whatever you want to put on it. But when they're able to coach and talk about themselves and coach themselves, that's when you have a chance to be a good basketball team.
Rick, something a little different. Today's the 35th anniversary of Tony White dropping 51 on Auburn. Talk about your relationship with he and his family, and what he means to Big Orange Country.
Well, you know, it was really a blessing for me. I got a call from Chris Lowe one day, and you know, I actually had a chance to see Tony. I scouted a game. I kid him about when I was an assistant at Alabama. Tennessee was playing Vanderbilt over there, and I actually scouted that game for Alabama at the time, and getting here and getting to know Tony through Chris, and I can think here of the times that Chris and I would go over to the hospital and see him. But as much as he was going through, he's a fighter, and that's when I think of Tony. That's what I think of, a guy that great personality, got a great zest for life. He loves the Lord, and you know what? I never heard him one time. You know, Coach Former went with us one time too, and we walked in, and the entire conversation was how he was going to fight as hard as he could fight. He's never going to give up, and you know, his wife Barbie was with him. We were never there when she wasn't there, and but watching him, and he comes by practice now some, and every time he comes in here, I wish our guys would have had a chance to see him play, because he was a special player. He really was. And you put 51 points on anybody, the next time I see Sonny Smith, I'm going to ask him about it, because Sonny's a terrific coach. And but again, it's been a gift for me to get to know Tony.
Red Rock.
Coach, how much better, or how much easier is offense when Fulkerson is active and engaged like he was on Saturday?
Gives us a whole different, you know, but just a whole different part of our offense when we know that we can get him going, or he can get himself going through what we try to do. And he's playing much quicker, much faster, and but he's a guy that we've seen him in the past do some really great things on that end, and we just, again, it goes back to consistency, and coming down the stretch here with this team, we're going to need them all to give us everything they've got.
All right, Coach, thank you.
All right, thank you guys.
Thank you.